that day running that Scottish National. He finished second the year before to a good mare of ours called Win My Wings.
Wow.
She was like unstoppable that day. She won by about 15 lengths and nothing would beat her that day. And once she won it that day and he finished second, I had a little idea then that she'd won another big staying chase 3 or 4 weeks before that, the Ida chase, and I wanted to put Kitty's Lights being the bridesmaid that year. It was my job then to put him in a position to do exactly what she did the following year. So
Christian Williams, how you doing, brother?
good, thanks. Nice to be here.
How long do you think this has taken? You're a typical Williams, and you though, like easy going, just don't do. I remember reaching out to you. Obviously, I bumped into you in a coffee shop. You're like, you're that podcast guy, knew. It's like, that's me. He's like, all right, we'll get it sorted. And then life happens. But thank you so much for coming on.
Pleasure.
You scrubbed up well.
Thank you.
I know, mate.
Straight from the farm. Well, home quickly, first shower.
Yeah.
Try and keep busy and maybe come across a bit laid back, but hungry and ambitious. And
in that, but I mean, yeah, obviously you got to be ambitious to do what you've done. But I mean, just as a general outsider, that you seem like an easygoing bloke.
Yeah, try and be calm there in front of staff, horses, and people. Try and keep calm.
Good, mate. I feel like I'm, what's the word? I'm in front of greatness at the moment, in a nicer sense. I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not a massive follower of the horses or races, but everyone I speak to about you is like, mate, this guy's a freak. You know what you've achieved, and doing it on our home. You know, Welsh boy. You know, down at Ogmore, the way you've set up the training and everything is it's unbelievable. And I've got to say thanks, man, for putting us on the map in that area.
Oh, we're lucky. We had a great start. You know, I surrounded myself with good staff from the beginning, which is probably the most important thing. And then we're just lucky. Then we landed on 4 or 5 real good horses that advertised as well from the start. And you know, meaning trying to pick out the big races and try and get them to peak on the big days and win on the big days on regional TV and get good profile then. So yeah, just a bit of luck and try and manage their career as well. And those horses are gone now, so it's up to us to try and replace them.
Do you believe in luck or creating your own luck?
A bit of both, really. Yeah. I suppose everyone works hard in the game, and I'm not the only person who wakes up early and grafts away to get the result. You know, plenty of other people do, but we just seem to be lucky. We got a little bit of a system at home that we do well in big staying chases. The area seems to cater well for that.
Really is. So obviously with yourself, Chris, like your background, you were a jockey, now trainer. You're not a short bloke. I'm a short bloke. Like what is the average weight of a jockey?
I think minimum weight with a jockey now is 10 stone 2.
So what's that in kilograms? Would you know?
Oh, well, no kgs.
Well, I reckon I'm got to be 13 something, and I'm around 84. So that's light anyway. That's what I know.
Yeah,
that's light.
I'm a lot heavier now than my racing days.
What's the average height then of a jockey?
National Hunt's not too bad. I'd be one of the taller ones when I was riding, so weight was always a problem. Just try and manage it as best you can, and that was the toughest bit, the weight. But you know, I had a good career. Came in a bit late. Went into racing when I was about 16 or 17. Came back home then. Went to Pencoed College for 2 years, and then set off. Then moved on to Paul Nichols's, and only came home 10 years ago. Then
really. So, what was the decision to come late into the game?
Just with the weight system, really. Just wanted to make sure that I didn't turn professional and then ride too many winners, so I couldn't turn back amateur and enjoy an amateur career.
Really? Oh, that was the reason?
Yeah, that was the main reason, just to come home and see if I could manage the weight.
I was speaking to your brother, and he was like, there's many Christmas days where you wouldn't be eating much, or if anything. Is that right?
No, yeah, Christmas is big. You know, we're in the entertainment business, same with most sports, so Boxing Day was a big day. Big day racing, so you'd always pick up good rides because there'd be 10 or 12 meetings on Boxing Day, so be focused.
So your riding weight, what would that be back when you were in
it's got a little bit harder each year, but I'd be eating minimum, very small calories, and couldn't really exercise too much then because the muscle you'd build would go the other way then. You'd be any running or any weights or anything you'd just be way too heavy.
Yeah. It's an interesting game, and it from the outside, I'm so curious about today's episode. To find out more about a trainer, a jockey, all the success you've had, but like you've done it in, where you're based at the moment. Is the training that you do with the horses different to the traditional version of training horses? Because you're always on the sand. A lot of the time it's trained on sand. Is that right?
Yeah, probably longer. Probably years ago, the people had less horses and way more staff years ago. So they used to exercise horses for longer, whereas everything now would be short and sharp work. Basically because, it's harder to get staff and you're trying to shorten your lot time out now so you can get more horses out. So, but we train a lot of horses the old way, just slower and on the deep sand then. But that's only because that our place caters for that. So,
and when you train in the deep sand, what does that kind of help the horses do then? Essentially, how does that
makes them probably puts good staying power into them, good endurance. Probably takes speed away, so that's a little bit of a negative, but puts good endurance in them and that seems to be our target there with the big staying chases we've won. Winning 2 Scottish Nationals, Welsh National, Midlands National, 2 Ida Chase, 5th in the Grand National. So,
well, I was looking at. I've got a little list here, and I didn't want to. I'm trying to avoid it. I wanted to just spitball with you, but like, I look at this. You're riding the Royal. Is it Oakland to the 2nd place in the 2005 Grand National? That's not your normal. Like that's the big one. That's the big dog. That's impressive alone on itself, mate.
No, that was good day. Obviously, don't want to get too excited about finishing 2nd. So basically, you're not winning. But no, it was a good day. Good for the family, and good for. That's probably the main race on telly that non-racing people follow. So to do that was great for Wales to see that. We're riding in those big races, and 2nd in that too. The winner won very impressively, so never really looked like I was going to win. We just hung on for 2nd. It was a great day.
Well, mate, coming 2nd in that alone is massive. What does that mean to you and the family? Because I feel like, just speaking to you, the people you surround yourself with is very family orientated. The business and everything you do.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, and you just when you're in sport, you don't really look back too much there with when you finish 2nd, you're pushing on then and riding the following day and just march on doing your career, really.
Are you much of a reflector then?
No, don't look back too much.
If you're just getting on with it, it's something happening all the time. You don't have much time to sit and process.
No, I try and keep busy and keep finding the next young horses now trying to find the next champions, not worry about the ones that are past.
How does someone then find the next horse? What is, like, obviously you've said you've had some amazing horses. How do you go and scout this? How do you scout them out, or how do you recognize, all right, that's what we're looking for?
Just basically trying to surround yourself with people that can do that type of job for you. So I obviously can't be in France, walking on fields in France, looking for, young horses. So, it could take 4 or 5 different people till you find the right person to do that. So, trying to find the right people to source the horses for you in different countries. France is a big area for finding thoroughbreds now. They seem to have got the breed right out there, and racing in France is massive and breeding is huge as well. So a lot of the horses we source are from France.
The value of a horse, what are we talking price points to get a good horse?
All the values really. Kitty's Light, one of our best horses was, I think, £4,000 or £5,000. He won about 300-400 grand in prize money. Captain Awards cost about 30,000. He won nearly 400 grand in prize money, and then we've also bought horses for 250,000 that have won nothing. So it's like, I suppose, like anything, it's an investment that you hope that kicks on. Yeah, and you get a team of owners together, and some of them try and buy success, and and the fun and enjoyment they have along the way, that becomes their hobby. And
it's an interesting world to go in, I suppose, horses, because for myself, I got no background in it. I never rode a horse. I've been shit scared of them, mate, so I've been a bit tempted not to do it. But you've obviously been brought up in it, so it's just normalized to you, all aspects of it. Have you had any broken bones from horses?
Yeah, plenty of falls. Yeah, I broke most of my bones. So, but good now. Wake up in the morning is normal. So I've been lucky that
you broke most bones.
Yeah, when I was riding, I've been lucky the last few years when my riding career stopped. But you're lucky to surround yourself with good doctors and good surgeons look after you throughout your career. So hope they can patch you up and put you in a good position then.
What was your worst break or worst injury?
A nasty arm injury, double open fracture, Cheltenham one day. Leg, ankles, collarbones, wrists.
Fucking hell, mate.
Everything. Just lucky that you don't. People out there broke their neck and their back who never walk again. So I'm not going to sit here and moan about breaking an ankle or a collarbone or an arm. Just blessed that I feel with the amount of bones I broke that I was one of the lucky ones.
You're a typical Williams driver, mate. I like it a lot. So, obviously talking about the races and injuries and things like that, what's been your biggest lesson from it all? From all of the things you've, as a rider to a trainer, what's the biggest lesson it's taught you?
Just to keep working hard, really, keep your feet in the ground. Quickly tamed in this game. You can, win the big races on a Saturday and have 3 or 4 horses pull up on a Monday, and then, when you find your good horses, then you've got to really appreciate them because they don't come around every week. So,
did you ever? And this, I'm speaking from a term of all sports people that you've rode this high, and there's sometimes we can get complacent and think it's just expected. You miss the little 1%, there's a slip, and they're the big things overall. Have you ever got complacent, I suppose?
Yeah, maybe when you get a bit older, you obviously become a bit wise and you learn from your mistakes. So, but we're very reliant on staff in our game. So,
what would the day in the life of you be now then regarding how? I see all your social media. It's a quality account, to be honest, and I see the photos, and I'm always interested. But I mean, you've got the gloss of what the end product looks like, but I could imagine it being a lot of rolling your sleeves at most days and getting into it.
Yeah, winter's obviously tough, and our game's are winter, really. That's when the big races are for us, the jumps races, so we don't train any flat horses from where we are. Yeah, winters are obviously tough sometimes, depending on the weather, and it's hard to get the horses right during the winter, then they obviously get less daylight. Rain sometimes hits them quite hard, so it's hard to keep them healthy. But, try and do as much as you can to keep them healthy, and then when they're healthy and fit, then they run for you then.
Is it, you talk about horses being healthy. What essentially, obviously, are you trying to be a step ahead of them, noticing, we might be overtraining a horse here, or we need to pull back a little bit, Is that the common signs you go, right, it's close to being getting a niggle here or something?
Yeah, a small bit, yeah. But you'd always get injuries. It's a tough thing with animals. If an animal gets injured, it's a big, massive thing. Whereas with the Welsh Rugby Union or people like that, there'd be injuries every single day of the week. And it'd be the same with horses. Always little niggles and stuff. But they're getting the best of care. We're lucky with the sea. We got the sea, the river. Physios come in, vets coming in all the time. So... and you're training them to, this racing's very competitive, so you need to get them as fit as you can. So it's obviously a fine line, but you get to know your horses. Some horses are different. You get real clean-winded horses, don't need as much galloping. Probably don't need to train them as hard in the summer as you do in the winter because they're running on, the ground's not as soft.
What do you call it? Clear what?
Clean-winded. Some horses would struggle a little bit with their wind.
Really?
So the thicker-winded horses would need extra work.
How do you identify that, or you just pick it up?
I could hear them and staff. Really?
How many staff do you have on board at the moment with your team regarding the training aspect?
10, 15. Yeah, good team of staff. And
busy bunch then.
Busy, yeah, busy.
What, from your riding days, what was the reason for calling it a day and going into training?
Basically, it wasn't quite doing as well as I wanted to do. Got a few injuries, came back, rode winners, injured again. Wasn't quite riding the amount of winners I wanted to ride. Was quite ambitious at being a jockey. So when the number of winners dropped down, just time to exit. Then it was, you're a winner, and if you're not reaching your targets, it's time to get out. Then.
Is it hard though? For instance, like I'm always relating myself. Whenever you're talking right now, I'm going right. When I left rugby, how did I find that? Like, because not many people leave on their own terms.
No, I find that quite sad for people, really, that they can't be quite content in their career and realise that what other things go on in life, that they're actually worried about having to retire. And a lot of people retire, come back, but I don't think I even announced my retirement. I think someone rang me a few months later, and so it was just, I enjoyed my career, but I never look back now wishing I was still riding or anything. Just move on to the next chapter.
What's up, guys? This podcast is brought to you by U-Test. U-Test provides clinically accurate, rapid home testing kits for a variety of medical conditions and deficiencies. Designed for convenience, these tests deliver results in just 5 minutes, eliminating the need to wait days or weeks for lab results. The range includes tests for prostate PSA levels, bowel cancer screening, onset menopause to fertility, and more. All tests are available with the next day delivery at www.utest.co.uk. Use the code 0010 for 10% off your order. Now, let's go back to the episode.
Out of everything you've achieved, and there's been a lot, what is something that really hits home the most? Like, that was the best part. We might not think it is.
Our family, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, racing's only racing is basically horses competing in a field and jumping off at the start, and you hope your horse finishes in front, so it's not massively. You're obviously trying your best for owners, but there's a certain degree of importance in that, obviously, but you try your best at home, get the horse in. If the horse's ability then isn't, what we'd have put up with the family the last few years just brings it home out that other things
It's been a bit of a journey for you recently, right? Outside of jockeying and training. Your two daughters' names are same again, sorry.
Yeah, Betsy and Tilly.
And you've had a bit of for how long has it been going on for with Betsy?
Oh, about 2 years and 6 months. Yeah, she was diagnosed with leukemia. So that was obviously a big shock to us. And
how old is Betsy?
8 2 weeks ago.
So she was 6.
Yeah, 6, a bit younger.
You've done some amazing raising money for it though, right? Done a lot of charity work and
I've been very lucky, and obviously lucky with my family, Charlotte and her family, that I could carry on with a degree in my business, carried on, and we still managed to hit the results we've hit. So hopefully now we have a little bit of luck at home, and then we can push the business on again. Then manage to buy a little bit of land local. So
nice.
Hopefully we can expand on that. Maybe start training flat horses from the new place.
How did you know, Betsy, that she was, like, before she got diagnosed? What was the signs that she was not well, or?
Yeah, just lacking in energy, sweating in the night. Yeah, ticking most boxes really for leukemia. So obviously, just getting a diagnosis then was the hard bit. I think Charlotte went to 2 or 3 doctors and basically begged them that she was convinced her daughter had leukemia, and they didn't help too much. But
really, they didn't.
But we managed to. The last doctor we went to see managed to send us for a blood test, and started that journey then.
I can imagine that's tested the family as well.
No, of course, yeah. We just, hopefully can move on now. And she had her last chemo there about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So
that's amazing. I'm glad to hear that she's had her last part of the chemo, and being only 8 years old, mate, she's gonna come out a resilient girl.
Hopefully, yeah. I just need the luck, but all families need a bit of luck, and hopefully we get the luck now in the next few years.
Oh, 100% you will, and there's some exciting times around the corner. You said that, like you said, she's had the last part of the chemo now. How's her sister been about it all? Have they come closer?
Yeah, I still fight, and Betsy could get enough energy to fight. She just joined the local football. She's nagging the last few days to join the local football team. I think it's Coity Chiefs.
Yeah, well.
So she's, I think Charlotte signed the form yesterday, and one of the questions was preferred position. Had to put any down.
Chuck anyone in there. Good, mate. I'm glad to hear. You've had a lot of fundraising. Do you know roughly how much the charity has raised?
I'm not sure really. I think she put up for an award there. We're lucky with you know, we had those high profile runners during the worst of the treatment. So, you know, Charlotte and the kids had that to follow on TV, and then the other families then in the hospital who had nothing else to look forward to. You're just privileged enough to be involved in racing, that we could go out and get winners, and we had something to cheer on in the house.
Yeah.
And the other families then joined in with the cheering, and something for them to look forward to watching the horses. And then obviously the fundraising there, we had a big profile, we had a big, you know, big following that, you know, we could raise money for the important charities.
I'm so happy to hear that obviously your daughter's in a much better place, but I could only imagine, mate, that surely it's got to take its toll on yourself. You know, your focus has always probably been the horses, training, work, but has it kind of made you sit and go, what's really important now?
Yeah, maybe. I think you just go into, you know, as a father, you just go into survival mode. So, you know, my job there was to get up in the morning and keep the show on the road at home, get back and take Betsy to her appointment, try not to miss any of the appointments in the hospital. So,
nice.
Again, surrounded by good staff, and lucky with Charlotte and her family and the rest of my family that we managed to get through the last 2.5 years.
That's amazing, mate. That's amazing to hear. And I know you've got some. How many brothers is it? Is it? Have you got a sister as well?
Yeah, big family. I think there's
mate.
6 of us, 5 boys and 1 girl.
5 boys and 1 girl.
Yeah.
That poor girl. I know, like you said, I know Nick and Sean. They're amazing people as well. I suppose, you know, and I've asked you earlier, is it the way that where you're based in Ogmore? How long have you been there? Have you been there since day dot?
Yeah, I was born there. Yeah, we only moved back there. It was 5 or 6 years ago with 3 horses and no license. So it's all.
So how did you establish all of that then? How did you go from no license, 3 horses, and go, right, we're going to establish this place?
Basically, I retired, and most sportsmen are retired. I think it's a little bit different now, but when you retire, you basically getting to the age of 30, and then you have to start work then, and you don't really have things in place for that. So I didn't really know what to do. Went to work for a big businessman called Di Walters in Cardiff, owns Walters Plant. Started riding out for him. He basically forced me into getting a license, so I didn't really have any interest in training racehorses. But he pushed me into that, and I used to keep 3 or 4 horses of my own there, and then just got a little bit ambitious then, and moved home with them 3 horses. And I was lucky my father obviously had the riding school in place, and grown from there.
Wow. From there now, where is it at today? Like regarding how many horses are there? Or?
We've only actually 27 stables there, but you know, with plenty of young horses about, and yeah, you need to be very grateful of what those real good horses do for you. So like Potter's Corner, who won the Welsh National and won the Midlands National, Welsh National. He was our first big horse, really. You know, he's only 2 miles from the yard at Jack Tudor, so try and visit him every 2 or 3 weeks and keep thanking him for what he's done, take the family to see him. So they become very precious to us. And
who was that jockey that I seen you in the coffee shop with? He came in a bit after. You were talking him up a little bit, and I was like...
Oh, Jack Tudor, probably.
Yeah?
Yeah, good. He started with us, our best. Yeah, great rider from Bridgend, Merthyr Boy. So,
have we got a good pedigree of riders, and or is this?
Yeah, brilliant in Wales. Yeah, we're very big in Wales. I see the rugby's struggling at the moment, and
you guys need to start taking us on then, because we're struggling. Do you get many people, mate, that go up to you and shake, mate, I've won some money off your races and horses?
lost some as usual.
Yeah. You just said then as well, like regarding fixing and things like that. What are the things that people are doing, you know, and we can do sports enhancing for like athletes, but are people doing the same concept for horses as well?
No, things would be very strict there. We're governed under the BHA. They hold our license, so you know, we'd be having random drugs tests regularly, testing at the races, horses tested after racing, random horses tested before racing. So there'd be no way around it, really. It's same with all professional sports, are well governed, and there's not many loopholes now.
You never want to go down to the rugby path, or was it never?
No, I wasn't quite good enough. So Jonathan Davis, he owned a bit of Potter's Corner, and I think he was injured at the time when Potter's Corner won the Welsh National. So it was wonderful that he was there with his wife and family to watch that, and I think he's player of the player of the tournament and 2 Lions tours, and for him to describe that day at Chepstow as one of his best sporting one of his best sporting days was great.
You're a part of that as well, mate.
No, brilliant. Yeah, no, very lucky, and riding on your owners, and you need to treat those horses, those real good horses. As long as you appreciate how lucky you are to get them, and when they move on then into their next careers and they get a bit old and their legs aren't quite the same, you need to find the next one. You be hungry finding them. You need to be in Ireland 2 weeks ago, France last week, France next week. So you got to
you're constantly on.
Keep driving. Yeah.
You talk. You're very humble about yourself. You're very humble about we're very lucky to have a good team. You're very good at diverting the promotion. I noticed that, right? But what is the 1%ers in your game? What is the difference between a good jockey or a good trainer to a really good trainer? I know you're saying you're here, there, everywhere, but you're doing something different to others.
Yeah, you're obviously the leader. You're obviously at the top, holding the license as a trainer, and you just hope that you're setting the example for all your staff to follow. Then, so the days you're not there, you hope that your staff will be thinking, "What would Christian do in this situation?"
Are you more lead with actions or words?
Actions in the beginning. But then when your yard gets a little bit bigger, then you got no option but to, give your staff different roles then otherwise the business can't go on. You can't be there all the time. You need to be, entertaining owners. You need to be looking for horses. You need to be at the races.
What's become your kind of role now then? Because are you hands-on all the time, or are you very much delegating now?
Yeah, delegate now usually. Lucky got Nikki. Yeah. Nikki in the yard. 2 good girls, Ellie and Harriet. Jack comes in good few days a week. Got the people under them then. Dan, John, Joe, Ella, Megan, part-time, Lauren. I did the travelling for the first 3 years in business, and then travelling horses to the races, and then hoped that I'd be in a position then to be able to employ staff to do that. So we got John and Clive now, so he wouldn't swap. I wouldn't swap my staff for anyone in those roles.
I love that. What's something then that obviously people just see the end part, right? It seems like there's so much leading up to that. What's the part that you like? This part doesn't get spoken enough about, but it's a pain. It's a real hard yakka type of role. What would that be?
It's hard to describe really, because when you're brought up with animals, things come natural to you. You could look at a sheep, a cow, a horse, and you just know if they're healthy, not healthy, where you need to be with them. So it's difficult to relate.
Is it? Okay, because you're kind of like, this is the norm, everything. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. And you're trying to study your horses, and you could look most horses in the eye, and you know if they're healthy, looking at their eye. And
really?
Yeah, and you get to know your horses then. Like, some horses are a bit picky eaters, but that's them. So if they're not getting straight into their food, that's normal to them. And then other horses then straight into their feed, and if they're not doing that, something's quite wrong. So yeah, it's just studying them really, and study them in the mornings, go and have a wander around in the afternoons. You could just keep learning about the individual horses.
Have you ever had a horse where you went, we're button heads all the time, me and you, and then something's just clicked and they're in?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Kitty's never jumped well at the start of his career, but we put him under pressure there. We used to run him in chases as a 4-year-old, because we basically bought him as a yearling. So we broke him in early. He had a flat pedigree, so he was basically bred to be an early type. And being typical of our place, we turned this flat horse who should have been running over a mile into one of the top 4-mile chasers. So 2nd in Scottish National, won a Scottish National, 5th in the Grand National. So we had him schooled up as a young horse. We ran him in chases as a 4-year-old, and his jumping wasn't very fluent, probably his weak point, but then it just started to come into him. Then he was obviously getting stronger physically, and we used to do different exercises for him, a bit like Pilates type thing as an athlete, over little poles and things, and yeah, everything just clicked then. The 1 year all just came into place. We went too hard on him at the start of the season. We used to run him in races a little bit shorter than he needed, but we thought that would sharpen him up and make him a little bit stronger. And then that 1 year, then everything clicked into place. And
there's so much into it, though, right? And it's the same analogy, really, building confidence in a horse as well.
Yeah.
Horse needs to feel confident before he races,
Exactly.
right? And
And they can't go to the well every time they run, and you can't gallop them too hard at home. You can't keep emptying them out. You gotta get the confidence into him. And yeah, when he won those 3 big races, then my family needed him at the time. We were going through a tough time, so
Really?
we needed him to lift the spirits at home. And
When you say
on the race
lift the
course.
spirits at home regarding what's gone on recently?
yeah.
Really?
Well, my family and Betty was rough at the time, and plenty of children we knew at the time were rough as well. And we knew that that day running that Scottish National, he finished second the year before to a good mare of ours called Win My Wings.
Wow.
She was like unstoppable that day. She won by about 15 lengths, and nothing would beat her that day. And when she won it that day and he finished second, I had a little idea then that she'd won another big staying chase 3 or 4 weeks before that, the Ida chase, and I wanted to put Kitty's Lights being the bridesmaid that year. It was my job then to put him in a position to do exactly what she did the following year. So
That's the hard part. That must have been a hard thing to do, though, to fill that.
we knew he was capable, and
Yeah.
and then she wasn't there that day. She wasn't going to be there the following year, so he was our main target then for that race. And we thought that if going through the season, we knew that if he got there in one piece, there'd need to be an accident during the race for him not to win.
You say that. What competition was it where you won the 3 races in the 3?
That was Kitty's Light. He won.
Yes.
Yeah, he basically won the Ida Chase big race at Newcastle.
Yeah.
That Win My Wings won the following year, and then he won the Scottish National at Ayr. That she had won the previous year.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a big prestigious and staying chase called is the old Whitbread Gold Cups at Bet365. Trying to mention the right sponsors. At Sandon, only 7 days after Ayr.
How often does that happen with it? It doesn't seem like there's a massive gap between.
No, that'd be like freakish that. So and Ayr is so Kitty's Light basically goes on the lorry, travels 12 hours to Ayr, runs 4 mile, jumps like 30 fences, travels like 12 hours home.
Wow.
Then has 6 days then to recover to run another 3 mile 4 and 25 fences. So people just wouldn't do it. But there was the added bonus that year that I think they were obviously only 7 days apart. So the horse, I don't think he ran with a penalty that year. So it was a bit of initiative to try and get him there. But it wouldn't. I think it happened once 15 years before that, and probably not. Hadn't happened before that time again.
Wow. And where did you get this horse from? Where did you get?
He was bought at a flat sale. Yeah, very cheaply.
So look at that.
Yeah.
People do these massive scouts and purchases. And
Exactly.
What does
Trouble with
that-
the horses, be again the same with these rugby players. They're trying to pinpoint these big, tall, strong boys, and then you get the odd freak like Shane Williams, was obviously a freak of nature, wasn't he? You wouldn't go out and try and pick 15 Shane Williamses to play for Cardiff for the Blues or Ospreys, but then once every 20 years you get a freak. Yeah.
And you got the freak.
Yeah, lucky, yeah.
Well, it's something here though, right? Where
And again, I was saying with a thoroughbred, I'm not 100% sure with a human as well, but the main ingredients of what you can't see is the heart, and they need to be a trier, and you can look at them, you go to the sales, you see them trot up and down, you get people studying them, how tall they are, their conformation's right, but ultimately what the most important thing is inside.
Yeah, and you can't really do that until you take them and test them properly.
Yeah, you never know then. So, a few of the boys will say you see some boys rugby training and they be flying around the training pitch and, trying to smash people and running around, and then you put them on the rugby day then and they go hiding.
Yeah, train like Tarzan, play like Jane. Is that the same concept with the horses?
Similar.
Yeah,
Similar.
we it's a bit like when I was in Australia, we'd play against like the city teams, and you'd be fine with, they look the part, and then you play against a couple of country boys, and they're not as big, but fuck, they hit hard. And you're like, you know what I mean? They just punch way above the weight. They just got that heart in them, you know?
Yeah.
And is that the same?
Yeah, of course. And they need a luck with injuries, and it all relates similar to the human, and need luck with injuries throughout their career, and get certain injuries. It's hard to bounce back the same. You sometimes lose a bit of speed, or just need to be lucky.
What's more rewarding for you as a jockey or as a trainer now?
A trainer by far. It's my own business, my family's business.
Yeah.
So as a jockey, just basically turn up at the races, ride your horse, jump in a car, drive home. So
Really?
yeah, but with those horses, you buy into the whole concept there. You're educating them from a young age, and getting them to the races, coming home, checking they're home okay, up the next morning, checking them, and they're all part of your family are reliant on those good horses to keep pushing your business on.
Has there ever been, because there's a lot of financial wins on a horse, what's been your greatest financial, like that race won big for us?
Just the prize money, really.
Yeah. Coming second the Grand National, what was that?
Yeah, second was, it'd be 150,000 for the owner.
Wow.
Get 10% of a win, and a jockey will, and 5% of a place.
As a jockey, you would come second, right?
Yeah, it's like 5% of a place. And as a trainer, then you 10% of all prize money. Then, so we obviously didn't win the Grand National, but win the Scottish National, good. Yeah.
Average, how many races do you have a year then as a jockey? How many were you doing?
Completely different. Jack will go racing now and have 7 rides one day and 1 the next. So.
All right, okay.
Yeah, all different.
But over a year, that's a...
Yeah, a good amount of rides, and it's most, nearly, I think there's only, when I was riding, there was only 4 or 5 days a year that would be no racing.
And most of them are all prize races as well?
Yeah, depending on where the horse finishes. Yeah.
So you could potentially make bank?
Only the top boys, really. It wouldn't be as straightforward as...
Well, if you're dialed in as well as you are, it sounds. You're too humble, I know. I'm going to say it for you. It's an interesting game, though, isn't it? It's just listening to
wonderful. It. People you get to meet, it's great.
But you shook some hands.
Yeah, good people. We're just lucky. We see good mates with Alan Brazil, McCoist, see Alex Ferguson at the races, rode in winners, Harry Redknapp, good friends with John Virgo. Yeah, just
nice, man.
A lot of people follow racing and get privileged enough to meet them, become good friends with them then.
When I was in Australia, my 2 rugby coaches, the Walker brothers, when they retired from the NRL, they went full time into just I don't know if they were involved with the horses, but they were betting on horses all the time. That was their job.
All right.
And I think they did it for a few years and then left, but they loved the punt over there.
Yeah, big in Australia, mate. It's
because in the pubs, you'd have like a TAB, a tab, and you could be in the pub while the horses are on, and you could be putting bets on in the pub over there. So people wouldn't leave a pub, and you'd just be betting all day.
Yeah, I think France is the same. So it's all. I think all the betting money goes back into the system there. It's a little bit different in this country, but I think Australia prize money out there is great. So I don't think there's any jump race in Australia all flat.
No.
Hey everyone, it's Ollie Olds here with a quick word from our incredible sponsor, Pitch Roofer. Your home is your castle, and nothing protects that castle better than a solid, reliable roof. That's where Pitch Roofer comes in. They're not just building roofs, they're building trust, community, and peace of mind. Pitch Roofer has been serving our local community for years, and what really sets them apart is their commitment to giving back, from supporting local sport teams to donating to charities. They're making a real difference beyond roofing. Together, we are stronger. Now, if your roof is looking a little worse for wear, or you are thinking it might be time for a full replacement, Pitch Roofer has got you covered with top quality solutions tailored to protect your home and boost that curb appeal. Why should you choose Pitch Roofer? Let me break it down for you. Experienced professionals. These guys know this stuff with years of expertise in residential roofing. Affordable rates, competitive pricing with no hidden costs, high quality materials, durable weather resistant products that stand the test of time. Free inspections, get the condition of your roof checked at no cost. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. They're not happy until you are. So whether it's a repair, a replacement, or you just want a peace of mind your roof is in good conditions, give Pitch Roofer a call on 01656 470016. A text message to 07540 443345 or email gerald@pitchroofer.co.uk. Pitch Roofer, building more than roofs, building a stronger community. Now, back to the show.
You say it's so much more rewarding as a trainer. Now, must get so connected to these horses. How hard is it when they come into the end of their career, or you got to let them go, and is it tough?
Not really, because you've taken them to the end of their career. You obviously get accidents as well. Some horses aren't privileged enough to get to the end of their career. So, Captain Ord retired last week, so it was wonderful. She's turned him out in the field there, and I'll get a plan for him now the next 6 or 8 weeks and sit down with 5 or 6 options on where to send him in his retirement. So,
what do they? Tell me that process. What does that look like usually for most horses that kind of come to the tail end?
Yeah, there'll be a good list for them, and he's a lovely horse to be involved with. So we find him a nice home and won't be too far away, because he's been a wonderful horse for my family. So I'd like to visit him every few weeks if possible.
Nice. It's just going to be local then.
Yeah, hopefully.
And then breed?
No.
Is that a no in the game?
Yeah, he's obviously a gelding. So yeah, Win My Wings was one of our better horses. Win My Wings, she was a mare, so she's obviously got res. She can be put in foal there and produce, but
because he's a male, you mean you can't?
Yeah, no.
I thought you'd try and get a nice female.
He'd have been castrated.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
This is my knowledge on those.
Yeah, in jumps racing, most horses are castrated in jumps racing, and on the flat, then that's where they produce the stallions.
Thanks for letting me know that. Now you're from a family tree of some great athletes. You got one at Blues at the moment.
Yeah.
What's Teddy?
Teddy.
He's out with Wales at the moment, right, as well?
Yeah, Teddy's doing well.
You close?
Yeah. He's great. He's trouble in racing and all. You buy into it, and basically 24/7. Then, so you don't visit even your close family as much as you should. But
Sean's a good player.
Yeah, I popped into Cabo the other day for a quick pint at about 12 o'clock after work. Go there once a month, probably have 2 pints. And the boy said, we're going to have to watch Bridgendath in the brewery field. And I think Sean was playing. I wouldn't have even known. Yeah,
he's been, I think he's played here and there at the end of the season. I think he's got some young kids, isn't he? He's got a lot of, how many kids he got? 3?
3, I think. Yeah, I can't keep up with him.
Not much TV in your houses, is it? And, he's I remember when I was younger, I watched him a bit. And then now this year he's come back. But I think he said he's going to play for this season as well.
Oh, nice.
Should be great.
Yeah.
And then your uncle who passed away.
Yeah, both uncles passed away. 2 great people. Owen. Teddy's father, I think he had a Welsh cat, played for the Blues, followed him most weekends. He went from Bridgend to Cardiff when the game turned professional. I remember watching the first Heineken Cup final ever. I think it was Toulouse, Cardiff. In probably been the old Arms Park then, would it? 20 odd years ago.
Yeah.
And watched that, follow him most weekends. And Gareth then.
Gareth, yeah. I know Nia. I went to school with Nia. She's amazing. I still see her now and I take the piss out of her all the time. So if she's listening to this, she'd be like, does my fucking head in that boy. Just wind her up all the time. She comes running with us. But yeah, she's a great girl. And so her mum's your auntie?
Yeah, Claire.
It's a big bunch, them Williams, isn't it?
Yeah, good squad.
Good thoroughbreds, whatever you want to call them, pedigree. It's good, mate. It's really good, and I'm just grateful for you coming on, man. I feel like nice. I want to know more about it though. I want to know what is it? I know, and I'm gonna come from such a novice background asking this question. What do you feed the type of horses that you train? What are you feeding them on all the time?
Most of that's just made now. There'd be 5 or 6 more, probably different types of feed. We get Dodson Oro. They sponsor the yard as well, so that's the feed we feed. But there'd be so much science not going into them that the majority of the feeds would be similar.
Yeah.
Certain yards we get similar results. But Dodson Oro we got a good relationship with and got the big wins feeding that. So the horses get fed 3 times a day.
3 times a day?
Yeah. First thing in the morning, lunch, and then tea. Supper. So my staff's working days would be start at 6:30 in the morning, finish about 1 o'clock.
Nice.
And then a couple of members of staff that would take it in turns and to come back in the afternoons and come back in at 4, only for about half hour, then 40 minutes. So you try and be as staff friendly as you can. Typically in racing, it would have been people come back in the afternoons between 4 and 6, and they brush horses off. But we try and change a little bit and try and be staff friendly, and then you hope then that when the good staff come, that they stay.
Yeah.
The main thing is trying to retain your best staff. You'd have your core of staff. I'm quite lucky. Most of my staff you'd like to retain. So, but yeah, most important thing is trying to
maintain that aspect.
Maintain your best members of staff, and the other people work around them then. And obviously very privileged and lucky there to have my brother, Nicky. Yeah. So if I'm not there then, and Jack's very involved as well. However well my business is doing, I think would relay on how Jack's riding career is doing as well. So
how do you find working with family? Because if I work with my brother, we probably clash heads all the time. How does that?
Oh, good. Yeah, good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Try and keep things simple on the yard. And
nice.
Yeah.
So how many times a day would the horses be out riding or training? Or
6 days a week, so for Sunday off. But we're lucky in our place that most of the fields are like sand based, so the horses can be out. So that's another good angle to our place, is that the horses, the majority of the time, are out wandering around the field. So they're probably doing 20 or 30 kilometers extra rather than stood in their stable. They're basically grazing. A horse was pulled out of the wild years ago and locked in a stable.
Yeah.
And it'd be alien to the way their system set up. A horse is probably designed to be grazing grass 22 hours a day. So we can manage to do that at our place. We always find they eat a lot better when they're out.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's because they're happier when they're out, or whether they're in a field of 5 or 6 horses and that they need to eat before the next person comes and eats it. Whether that's another trait of the wild,
really,
that's bred into them maybe. But I always manage to get more food into them when they're out, and obviously the more food you can get into them, the more you can work them. The fitter they'll get.
So you're kind of trying to keep them tamed as a training horse, but you keep them in the wild essentially to make them feel a home essentially.
Yeah, we find that. We find a good angle. That's a good angle that we have on different yards. We think is that
training on sand, though, that must be good for the joints. It's good. I know for a fact when I've done training, it's good for recovery. It's good for not too much load through as a human. So I assume it's the same for a horse.
Yeah, a lot of yards will be sand mined, a lot of big yards, but they'd be artificial sand surfaces, so they'll still be galloping through sand. But then we got the river very close.
I was gonna say,
and on tide days, then we won't have to walk too far to the sea. The salt is brought up to us, so it's basically 50 yards from the yard to river.
Yeah,
another good angle for us, and but being out most of the time and trying to keep inflammation reduced. So with the horse wandering around, he'll have less inflammation than if he stood in a stable.
When you say inflammation, where's the common area that a horse would hold inflammation then?
All parts really, because you're working them. It's the same with the human. They're working hard.
Yeah.
You're basically training them to running those big staying chases. So the fitness, your angle is you're trying to angle that your horses you're trying to put your horses in a position where they're fitter than the most, and we try and keep them relaxed as well. So obviously traveling to the races is as important as the race, and then the first half of the race the horse needs to be saving their energy. Maybe again like in other sports, someone who's running around like a headless chicken the first 10 minutes won't be able to do their best work at the end of the game then. So we have certain ways we like the horses ridden in a race. How do you... So their energy is efficient then for the latter. The most important thing then is from like the championship rounds in boxing. That's when the horses need to stand up then. And
how do you... Let's talk mindset for a little bit then. How do you get a horse in the right mindset before a race?
You're trying to peak them on certain days. So you have your targets with the good horses. You target certain races throughout the year. So it's your job then to, like you said, you can't completely empty them out every time they run, and sometimes run them over lesser distances then in the early part of their career to sharpen their jumping up. And you're basically trying to prep a horse then for... We have 2-year-olds at home, and we're in our mindset is we're training them from 2 to to be the finished article at 6, 7, 8, and 9. So trying to work out how you can bring longevity into their career, and that's starting from a young age.
Do you reckon horses, as science grows and everything, horses having longer careers now than ever?
Yeah, I would have thought so. Yeah, but racing's a lot more competitive now as well.
Yeah.
So, years ago where they used to go slow during the race, the first half of the race is so competitive now that it's line up at the start and away they go. So it's a bit of a shame really, because the art of race riding has gone a little bit down. It's basically go as fast as you can for as long as you can now. Whereas years ago, whereas you basically bit different. You ride your race and try and produce your horse at a certain time. So we like to hold our horses up a little bit and need a bit of luck in running then, but try and bring longevity into their careers then through that, and only really giving them real hard races when they need to.
What are the prime ages for a horse where like this is their peak years? 6, is that? Is that what you said? 6?
All different really. Kitty's Light was probably 7 and 8. Win My Wings that did like freakish things when she was 10, and you think, where did that come from? She was like, she was doing things like 7, 8, and then she went into that 1 year then, and she won a race at Exeter one day. We didn't think she'd win, and she just got up on the line, and then after that, then she went to Newcastle and travelled through the Ida Chase like a real good horse and sprinted clear. And then her training after that, then she just like exploded at home and turned up at the Scottish National and won by half the track. You don't usually win, horses don't win Scottish Nationals doing that, and she was a small mare, running against geldings.
Wow.
And yeah, just did something stupid, and she was a little bit unlucky then that the following season she just picked up an injury. And she was 10 at the time, so she would have needed 12 months off to recover from that injury, and she would have been 11 coming back, but she'd have been a big Grand National. She'd have been a big Grand National hope that year. I would have thought big chance that year, but she had picked the injury up, and she was worth a lot of money then as a broodmare. So
what was her injury again?
Just a tendon strain. Not bad, but
how long does that stick around for?
They basically need 12 months of rest. They go out in the field. They've got to stand in for the first 4 or 5 weeks, because you can't explain to a horse when you turn him out in the field that he shouldn't gallop round, because it might aggravate the injury. So you can't. They wouldn't listen if you said that to them. They'd run round with their friends and make the injury worse. So basically, she'd be stable, bound, for the first 4 or 5 weeks, and then basically out in the field then, and basically give the longer you give the tendon time to recover, the better. Yeah. But like I said, when she'd have come back from that injury, she'd be being 11, going on 12. So
kind of at the back. At the end then. That's tough though, isn't it?
Tough, yeah. She'd have been a big. And Potter's Corner was the same. Potter's Corner's Grand National year was COVID year, so he actually won the virtual Grand National. Right. So all the stats go into computers, and they try and make it as realistic as they can on horses' age, profiles, previous seasons, etc. And he came out and won the virtual, so I'd say he'd have had a big chance that year. So he was unlucky that didn't exist.
How old was he?
I'm not sure how old he was, and he was never quite the same horse after the Welsh National. The ground was very heavy when he won the Welsh National, and he absolutely peaked that day. He probably put in a performance that he wasn't quite the same horse after that. Probably just took the edge off him, as he obviously put his life and soul into it that day, and never quite the same. But the Grand National the following year would have been the race for him, and then when he ran in it the following year, then he's just gone. Then he wasn't quite wasn't doing the same things at home as he did. He did a piece of work about 10 days before the Welsh National that he'd never ever done before. We took him away to do a piece of work, and we took about 4 or 5 youngsters with him that we thought were nice horses. And we usually go up this gallop 3 times, and they went up 3 times, and I said, take them down once more. So they went down once more, and he was about 3 furlongs in front of all the youngsters. Yeah, he did a piece of work there that he'd never really shown before. He just absolutely peaked for the Welsh National.
Isn't that mad how they can just
mad,
turn it on?
Unbelievable. He wouldn't have done it before. It was weird. And then, as I said, with the Win My Wings there for her, if you watch that replay back of her winning on YouTube of what she did in in a Scottish national, it was Jockey's basically looking round from the third last as if she just joined in from the third last.
It's amazing that, isn't it? It just not baffles me, blows my mind though, because you can do all of the science, right? But it's just like something clicks in the brain or something clicks in the horse.
Yeah.
It's just like, how does that happen?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. Confidence be a lot with horses, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you think you have because of your coming so young into horses, do you think you have this connection with a horse that you can't, because you just get, like you just said earlier, you're immune to, like you've just brought up in them. It's like you're ingrained in their life and they're ingrained in yours. I think you just, from listening to you, it just sounds like you have this, you just know something with them. When if I walked up, I'd look at them stupid and they look at me stupid. I go, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you can tell looking at them, you can, they just get the swagger at home, and and when you jump on them, then they just, it's as if they've grown and they've turned into a bigger, stronger horse than they actually are. So yeah, and sometimes a horse will know when he's won. Like Win My Wings she won at Exeter, and then she put in a big performance then in Newcastle, and she just, whether her confidence grew as well. So confidence probably a big thing in all sports, all walks of life, not just sport, business, everything. Things just go for you then, don't they? And you have your bad runs, and then when things start going right for you, then you become unstoppable.
Yeah, you get that, it just clicks, doesn't it? It's, how have you found that from jockey, trainer to a businessman? How have you found the transitions? And it's a totally different ballgame doing business in the game to riding to training, right?
Yeah, tough in business, obviously, because I'm not saying you failed in school, but you basically come out of school at 16 and off you go then. So you stop listening to your teachers about 2 or 3 years before you leave, because all you want to do is leave. But when I was brought up, you still, you respect your teachers then. And up until about 6 months ago, we had a head teacher called Mr. Crockett, Keith Crockett, terrified of him, and I used to see him walking his dog. I think the poor old dog passed away about 6 months ago, so I don't see him as much now, but still, up to this day, call him Mr. Crockett and still be terrified of him.
We had a teacher. It's funny that you call him by sir. If I bump into a teacher now, I still call him sir.
Yeah, of course.
Like, call me by my real name. I'm like, nah, I can't. It's just it's ingrained.
But the business is hard, and you learn all the time. So probably the least important, I'm not saying the least important thing, but one of the lesser important things when you run your business is probably the training of the horses and the results. You need to get other things in place as well.
I don't know about you. I wasn't that great in school. Like similar to your story then, all I thought about was rugby. I know 15, I don't care about anything else going that way. And class would overwhelm me a little bit. And I've been working with a young fella, he's only 11, great kid. Really good hands-on, farmer background. Class wouldn't be great for him. And but when it came to working on the markets on the weekend, selling sheep, selling cattle, he knew numbers, he knew how to make money, he knew how to do all of these things. So I think when you're invested in something just clicks in you, and you learn on the run a bit more. We all learn differently. Like you just said about these horses, some of us are not designed to be sitting still in a classroom. And I don't know about you, if someone chucked the textbook in front of me, I'd be like, fuck. But if you said to me, oh, hang on, there's 12 balls and you've got to do X, Y, and Z and it's going to work out, you figure it out, don't you?
Of course, and yeah. And then you get to a certain age then, and you go into survival mode then. You got the family there to, obviously, to feed, and you want to be ambitious, and you want to buy land, and you want to grow your business and keep pushing on.
Where would you like to see the business, Chris?
I'd like to train flat horses if possible.
Yeah.
Don't think we could really do that where we are. But bought a piece of land last year, which was nice. Yeah, live in a nice house. Yeah, we worked hard. And
where's the land?
Tros.
Nice, mate. Nice.
Yeah, nice. So nice piece of land.
44
acres. So just put in planning now for a gallop and a barn, and hopefully new chapters not too far away.
Nice, mate. Well, I hope some investors if you're looking for any investors, mate, they're listening to this. It'd be silly not to, but. Where you are based in Ogmore, that was stunning.
No, lucky, yeah, very lucky.
You won't get spots like that. No. Look, we got a great day today as well. But I mean, that area to be around is a great setup for everyone, but horses as well. It's a good spot.
No, it's great, yeah. And we, you know, we probably only started to advertise it well the last year or two. We got Megan Dent does our socials for us, so you know, she does a great job. She's basically part of the family now, and she lives up north but comes down and helps out as much as she can. So hopefully that shows well as well. Whereas before I was trying to drive the lorry to the races, train the horses, do the socials. So hopefully that's getting better.
Mate, your socials is really good. I spoke to you before this, and I said, surely that's not you doing all of that. That's too. It looks proper. You know, I'm impressed with it. When did you know it was enough? You know, with burnout, essentially, with business and jockeys and horses and training a team. Surely there's a limitation to you. You know, there's a ceiling to how much you can provide until you go, right, I've got to get a team in place.
Yeah, you can. When you start, you can't just have a team around you. You can't afford to pay them to start with, so you're on your own. Yeah. And yeah, it's great. Yeah, and as I said, we've probably been in third gear the last 2 years with what's happening at home. So hopefully we can step up now and hit fourth and fifth gear and push on.
Yeah, I got a lot of admiration for you and your family to be able to juggle this massive impact. No person's meant to experience a child going through something so young, or any child of theirs to go through that. Be able to do that, run a business, still be successful. It says a lot about the team, and it says a lot about you, mate, because obviously the team buy into what you see as valuable and what you stand for. So, mate, that says a lot about you. So it's a credit to you, and I'm excited to see the next 5 to 10 years where you go.
No, it'd be nice to be back in a few years, and
I'd love to.
Hopefully different angles, and just try and be a success and make people proud of you, people close to you, make them proud, and do as best you can. And
love that. If there's going to be people listening to this podcast now, jockeys, trainers, what would be the best advice you'd give to a jockey? And then what would you give the best advice to a trainer to become the best, or become the best they can be?
Just be as dedicated as you can be, I suppose. And, you know, we give people hope that you can come from, you know, from a working class background as well. And, you know, compete in our sport from the background we've come from, and, you know, try and mix it on the big days then. But yeah, dedication, and you only need plenty of luck, but if you work hard and do the things right, don't cut corners, then you got every chance.
Love that, man. And how can people find you? Is it anywhere that they can, besides your social media, is there anywhere else they can find you, mate? Don't answer your phone half the time anyway, you bugger.
No, we're very open there for, you know, it's great that people come down and visit the place, and it's wonderful. And yeah, got a good following now. We just started a racing club up now, so it's obviously a cheap way of people getting involved, so they can be involved more. Chris, you see that on the websites, and yeah, it's just great there. Like with, you know, we used to look at people's websites years ago, and people just start a website up and wouldn't update it, and it'd be nothing on there for like 9 to 12 months, and then I turned into one of them. So I was trying to keep everything updated for people to follow, and, you know, even with the family things, keep people updated on the family, because people are very kind, and always asking how the little one is. So
you said she's done with the chemo now, right?
Yeah, finished with the chemo now. So,
and ringing the bell, we allowed to
that? I think it's the 9th of July, hopefully, and we can look forward to having a port removed on the 9th of July. So hopefully we can book a holiday then, and off we go on a holiday. We haven't been on a holiday for 3 years. Do that, and then bring all the horses back in, and the winter horses, and I think we got 30 odd horses there out in the field.
Wow.
And hopefully he's a superstar there somewhere.
Love that, man. Love that. Mate, thank you so much for coming on. I genuinely mean that. You've taught a novice some knowledge on horses, trainers and jockeys, and more importantly, just I got a lot of love, mate, for the story behind it and your children. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mate, I ask all my guests, what are you grateful for?
Just being, you know, supported well, and, you know, through the last few years, the amount of support we've had has been brilliant, and yeah, just lucky to set up the business as well. Lucky with my parents, and I actually feel privileged to come, you know, where we come from, Bridgend, and to set the business up in Bridgend. You know, it's a tough game racing, and you get big training centres, and to be doing, you know, to be a success and stay in our own country. We maybe thought a couple of years ago might go to France and train, or maybe go to Lambourne, but to try and stay at home and make Wales a success in the horse racing game.
Has anyone, I know I've asked you what you're grateful for, but I want to ask you, has anyone ever said it's never going to work here?
Maybe you had your doubts.
Yeah.
A lot of money in different parts of the country, and to be chasing those big owners to invest big in the sport. Why would they buy horses with a trainer in Wales? But we've also got good links as well. Train station, direct line to Paddington, and we can be in London in 2 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice, mate.
Nice.
Hey, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you coming on. Thank you for sharing your journey, and I can't wait to get you on in another year or two's time and be like, where are we at?
Thank you
mate.
much. Cheers.